Hi everybody, this is Matt Leach from Pioneer Midwest, and in this video we're going to talk about the Birkie, specifically kind of what made skis great and not great, and then we'll probably touch on kind of what we've learned about all the non-floral waxes over the past 2 seasons. But this is Cory and Jeremy from the shop. I'm going to talk a little bit about ski flex and what was important with ski flex to make great skis for the Birkie, and then Cory's going to talk about structure, stone grind health, and hand structure, and Jeremy is going to cover glide wax and kick wax for the Birkie. I was fortunate enough this year to stay back at the shop and work until Friday evening and then drive up, so I missed all the Birkie fever fun until the 11th hour, which is the best way to get Birkie fever, is to hold off on getting it until race morning. But I had a great race, and I didn't even touch my skis, so these guys did everything, which was awesome. But I had great skis and felt good and had an awesome result. Overall, our wax service was very well received. We had a few people that didn't have great skis, but that was mostly a byproduct of base health and then ski flex as well. It was definitely a cold snow Birkie, and in the past, if your bases weren't super healthy, we could basically use florals to kind of, as a magic eraser, to kind of cover up a lot of issues. Without florals, the flex of the ski and the structure and having open, clean structure is very important. Cory will talk more about that. But my specific pair that I used was a Solomon Blue, so it had a cold base on it, had very long contact to kind of go over the sharp snow crystals. So there was just a ton of friction out on the course. I know a lot of people complain in the uphills that their skis were not fast or free, and that's just all that high pressure when you put the ski on the edge trying to glide through a trillion contact points. So my skis had very long contact, tip and tail, with a very smooth contact pressure, and we're just trying to skim over those snowflakes. And warmer Birkies were battling more capillary suction, but this Birkie, not really much. Quarterlope, it was very cold snow, and the Birkie, the first half of the waves were definitely very cold snow. Maybe towards the later waves, it definitely warmed up pretty quick, so there's maybe a little bit more glaze. I even felt that on my skis. I used a blue, which is a cold ski with cold flex, cold grind, and I had one of the best pairs of the ski in the field probably till 10K to go, and we skied the last 10K. It was just really firm. The sun was out, there's not a lot of canopy, so you're getting that solar heating, and there was definitely more glaze down there, and amongst our top group of 8 skiers, the order of who had the best skis to the least great skis, and that kind of started to shuffle around a little bit, and I probably would have been better on a universal pair. But for me, I'm keeping up with the young guys. I needed the best possible ski out of the gate to get up and over all the big hills for the first 20K, so I was really happy with my ski choice. But again, the last 10K, they groomed it firmer. There was a ton of traffic from the Quarterlope the day before, and the sun came out in full force, and so things were a little firmer, a little glazier. But the first half of the Birkie was all in the trees and really refrigerated, really cold, fresh snow. And they didn't groom that or ski that on the Quarterlope, so the Birkie is really kind of a two different climates of snow, is what we've kind of noticed over the past few years that they've done Quarterlope and then Birkie. But yeah, having a good high quality ski and having the flex lean a little bit on the colder side was extremely helpful. And I'll let Cory talk about grind and structure.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing that we ran into, just waxing the number of skis that we did, was you can clearly see as soon as you start rubbing glide cleaner on something that has been treated well and has good base material that we can actually melt wax and bond wax to, and a ski that has seen either a lot of start green, something that's been skied on a lot of man-made snow all season. So that difference becomes really apparent right away as soon as you start rubbing glide cleaner on stuff, which is how we based everything. So number one thing with structure that we found was colder structures were almost always better. Definitely ski flex plays into that, but cold structures, our SC1 was personally what we found running best. We found the SC0 right away was really good, but it just doesn't warm up as well. Our SC1 we've had really good luck with, even warming up further into the race. So something that was going to ski well at the start, but also do just fine, like Matt was mentioning, once you hit the quarter low bit course halfway through at 00.
We had some customers that did have the SC0, but you guys added hand structure, which really helped.
Yep, so we were testing hand structure all week as well. We specifically went with the Red Creek tool, -5, -15. I was testing early morning of, and I found that there was a huge difference between something with hand structure pressed in. That new falling snow did have a lot of moisture in it, even though it is fresh new snow, there's still a lot of moisture locked into that. So
Yeah, I
having
think
hand
one of
structure.
the big things was with that structure though is we only applied it to the back axis.
Yeah, big thing with structure is you also are then running the liability of picking up dirt. So we wanted to really minimize that, but also capitalize on what that hand structure tool is doing for us. So we were pushing it in from binding back on everyone's skis.
We're pretty much we're waxing for J&Q weekends and nationals, and Jeremy's at the World Cup this season waxing for the ski team, and hand structure is used 95% of the time, all the time.
It's talking with my brother on the US ski team wax tech. He says that they're running hand structure probably 98 to 99% of races. But when you're doing that, we have from Red Creek, we have 10 tools in our box, Red Creek tools. We have 5 or 6 different finite tools. We got 2 or 3 different Swix tools. So we have a big arsenal at our disposal. If you have, let's just say the Topo tool that has 3 different things on it, there's gonna be a lot of times where not adding structure is gonna help. It's having the right structure, the right tools for the right conditions is going to help. But if you put on the wrong structure for the wrong conditions, you're going to be hurting yourself. So
yeah, it is something that us as a shop, we are lucky to have so many tools because we can test it. Again, structure can be a liability, and often it is when you're just blindly throwing structure on a ski.
And I'm fortunate to have these guys test it for me. So and I've done a lot of self-supported racing over the years, more than most other more fast racers, but I would usually have my race skis all set with wax, and then maybe a warm-up pair, I would take my best guess at a hand structure and press that into one of my warm-up skis, and then the other one I would leave the factory structure and just test in my warm-up, and then if it was different or better, I could just roll some structure into my race skis really quickly. So that's kind of one, if you're kind of self-supported, that's a way to kind of to do that. Unfortunately, you do need a bench in your car to do that, but it's not that much. It's not that much extra work. Rolling hand structure in and just brushing that out a little bit is pretty quick to do. It's not like probably less work than putting more kick wax on a ski, honestly.
Yep. Yeah. As for the glide side of things, we did a lot of testing throughout that week, and things seemed pretty consistent up until Saturday. Early parts of the week it was colder, so we're running a lot of colder waxes for our race service. Regardless if it was for the Cory or the Birkie, we did start off with some of these harder paraffins, whether it was SG10, HS5. Really, that part of the wax doesn't matter as much. Rex green. It's just getting something down that's a hard paraffin that's going to help add to the durability. So that's kind of the first step that we did. And then, regardless if it was for the Cory, the Birkie, we had a lot of success with Marathon as going to be the paraffin of choice. So we pretty much put that on most people's skis there. And then it was for the Cory, we were adding on some N-Kinetic Cold as that top coat. It was a little bit colder conditions. It was really good. And during the Birkie, we were doing a little bit different things based on start time. So for the early starters, we were liking the TSP5. A little bit colder weather, that this new wax from Swix has been running really well. But one thing we did notice from testing, and also we've heard from the Swix rep, Evan Pengelly, that TSP5 might not run well with liquids on top of that. So for our early starters, whether it's probably Elite Wave, Wave 1, Wave 2, we didn't run any liquids over the top of that. It wasn't until the later waves, Waves 3 onwards, we were still on the Marathon, but we added the G21 liquid from Rex over the top of that. It runs a little bit warmer, so when that sun came out and temperatures creeped up into the 20s, the G21 really made a big difference. But with our race service, I think that the biggest thing that we were doing that that kind of sets us apart from maybe doing it yourselves is the brushing. So getting that structure all cleaned out really well with both hand tools, roto tools, and then also the roto fleece really helps out a lot. So it's something that when we get skis handed to us, Cory's mentioned about base health, we could also see skis handed to us that were skied on with wax still on the skis. Yeah. So the customer just scraped, brushed, but didn't really have a good chance to get it out. Having us with the tools that we have and the experience, just cleaning the skis fully out of paraffin, that's a huge impact on the skis.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of wax we put on each ski is not that much cost. You know, what you're paying for is having experts do your skis so that you don't screw something up. So a lot of people at the Birkie they freak out. They get the fever too much, and their friend said they got to try this brand new funky wax or a new method of kind of brushing the skis out. So I know some customers that I personally helped that didn't have great Birkies. They had bad skis. They just waxed for themselves, and you know, I took a brush in the store here and just scrubbed with a horsehair, and I was just getting a ton of wax out of the ski. And if it's medium to older snow, you don't pay a very high penalty for that. But if you're trying to ski over 1 trillion contact points and you've got some extra wax in the base, it's just gonna grab. So as Jeremy said, like having a very clean, well brushed out, well polished ski in cold friction based snow is absolutely necessary.
Yeah. And then on kick, it was actually pretty simple conditions all week. With that fresh snow, colder temperatures, really what we were finding is that you could start off with a blue wax of really your choice, Rex Blue, B17. I mean, pick out any blue from any company, really. It was going to kick well. And then things that we added or augmented that with, N21G from Rex, adding that on top actually helped speed up the skis quite a bit without really taking away that kick. And then on Saturday, as the temperatures were warming up, we were recommending 30 GB. A little bit of glazing as thousands of skiers were going over that snow. 30 GB helps out with bumping up that kick with very little risk of icing.
What did you guys use for binder?
Binder, we use mainly Bouty Super Base. These conditions, I was really hesitant between a leaner binder like the Rex base binder or Bouty AT base, or going towards something that has just a little bit of Clister mix in there, whether it's the Super Base, which is what we used, or Start Extra Base. In a marathon setting where I would have more time to test more than just the going out and skiing for a kilometer or two, I would have done 20 or 25 kilometers on a ski and done a durability test. Unfortunately, with the amount of skis that we had to wax that week, that was unfortunately not possible.
So we just went with a
Safe option.
bulletproof binder.
And the bigger thing is our application method too.
Yeah.
Like we have a roller set up specifically for binder, so we can apply it thin, evenly on every single pair of skis.
Yes.
It's really easy to overdo binder. So
That might not have been the right choice for the average consumer, but these guys have the experience and tools to apply things a little differently.
Yeah. So
Cool. Hopefully that was a helpful video. Just a reminder, if you need skis for next year, we are building our pick list now. We're going to be doing kind of an end of year grind special coming up, so look for that on our website or email. We have our spring sale going on right now, but if you want race skis for next year, contact me sooner versus later, Matt at piningthewest.com. The industry just can't make enough skis, and with the supply chain shortages and all the stuff happening in the world, next winter doesn't look much better. So contact us sooner than later. If you want to stop in the store, ship us skis too. We can check your base health, and we can use both flex testers to map out what your skis are good for, if they're even good or not. We can check quality and basically give you a bill of health on your flex, and then and structure on the skis. So, cool.
awesome.
All right. We'll have Birkie fever again next year.